Brighten up those already bright mornings. Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter. Mornings at the Cabin.
Mornings at the Cabin. Mornings at the Cabin, indeed. It looked like it was on. It looks green every time. Don't look at me like that. Mornings at the Cabin. Wheeler with you on your Thursday morning. Ollie across from me. Sarah to my left with a pack of strawberries that could choke a horse.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Stuck in the middle with me. But not really. She can leave whenever she wants. But that's a lot of strawberries. Would you like to share some of those?
Yeah, they were on sale.
They were on sale.
Starting to go moldy.
Oh, great.
You still want them?
I will fill you in on this. Just to digress back into my trip again. So recently I was in.
I don't think I heard about this trip. You went on the trip?
Where did you go?
Oh, stop it! For God's sake! What else would I talk about on the first day other than the trip I was just on for 3 weeks? Makes no sense to take the piss out of somebody for that. The best strawberries I've ever had in my life were from a gas station in Scotland.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
No,
honestly,
they weren't.
I went to a Tesco, great strawberries. I went to a, what was the other one called? A Snarp or a Snap?
A Snarp?
A Snarp or a Snap or something like that. And great strawberries all across Scotland and Ireland. Wonderful strawberries. I don't know what's that about.
Well, the Scottish are just enjoying them while they can because they're probably from Europe somewhere.
Yeah,
and
of course
come the end of October, they won't be able to get those strawberries.
That is better than us getting them probably from California.
Well,
less of a carbon footprint, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's great. But politically, they'll be out of Europe by the end of October, and that'll be the end of your strawberries.
I'm confident a deal gets struck.
You ate like Scotland's last strawberries.
I mean, I'm interested to see what happens in Ireland with that whole thing, but we'll get into that as the morning progresses, because that's all we're going to talk about. My trip to the UK.
Mornings at the Cabin, the podcast.
Wheeler and Ollie with you on your Thursday morning. Scott is dead. He has apparently not shown up this morning, and without fearing the worst, we're going to assume that he's died. Rest in peace, Scott.
Rest in peace, Scott. If you would like to captain a slow pitch team full of reluctant participants,
very reluctant,
some cat herding required, please apply within.
Absolutely.
We are looking to fill that spot quickly.
A thankless job. No one will thank you, and you'll have to do a lot of organizing. So, but the upshot of that is, if you're taking the place of Scott, you got a cabin to go to every weekend.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
Which is nice.
Does Nicole get any say in this? Or
well,
we're just going to install somebody in there with Nicole. This is your new partner.
Yeah.
Take them to the cabin.
Take the cabin.
These are your
dogs.
Got
a couple of dogs.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
There's no replacing Scott. We couldn't do that. But I mean, we'll miss him.
I'm getting kind of sad looking at the chair now. You are going to feel really bad about this if
he's actually dead. Yeah, probably. I mean, probably. Yeah.
We're going to go ahead.
I hope he's okay.
We hope he's okay. Let's just turn this ship around.
I'm pretty sure he's fine. I think he just slept in this morning. That's all this. We didn't receive a message as to what was going on. So I think he probably just slept past his alarm, or maybe just decided to go off on a kayak this morning and not come back for a little while.
It would be far more in keeping if Nicole and Scott had decided last night, we'll just go for a quick kayak.
Yeah.
And they're now in the East Arm somewhere, having slightly underestimated the distances on Google Maps. While you were away, they did a canoe to Cinnamon Island.
Yes.
So up past the Yellowknife River, right? And that it's about 2.5 hours each way.
It's a nice trip.
Yeah. They did it on a Tuesday evening, and it's slightly underestimated. So it took them 5 hours after work to go out there and back with 2 dogs. It's just a lot.
It is. It is. I mean, on the map it doesn't look that far. You're just kind of like, it's just up around the bend.
That's what he said.
Yeah. It's it's fair. So yeah, we should clarify we don't know that Scott is dead. So we'll just say hopefully he shows up.
Remember when we were going to talk about sandwiches?
We went off the rails a little bit. Yes. So in the UK. There are places called Tesco and Snarp and Lidl and like all kinds of different grocery stores. Now, Tesco is the big grocery store that kind of permeates all of the UK. It's everywhere. There's little Tesco Expresses on nearly every corner in downtown, Edinburgh and Glasgow. And they have these prepackaged sandwiches that are really quite good. No better than you'd get like a prepackaged sandwich at say like a Starbucks or something like that. But compared to the gas station sandwiches you can get here, those pre-wrapped like high guard with the little Viking on them that are like processed to the teeth. Absolutely a gourmet meal.
Sarah's just dropping food in the background. Now, you remember when I, months ago, said how nice the gas station sandwiches were in the UK? And everybody laughed. And everybody was like, all right, Ollie, whatever, you weirdo, you freak of nature, you disgust us all.
I don't think I was getting down on the gas station sandwich. I think I was getting down on what you showed us, which was a sparkling water, no flavor, and like a cucumber sandwich with, what was it? It was like a
salmon.
Salmon, yes.
Cucumber.
And the salmon in the UK is
oatmeal bread.
Next to flavorless. Because it's massively farmed. So it's next to flavorless with cucumber or whatever it had on it and watercress, I think, or something. And with soft oatmeal bread. So you just had the most flavorless thing. That's what I was making.
Bread on sandwiches should not be crunchy, dear boy.
Bread on sandwiches should have some sort of flavor. It should add something to the sandwich.
Clearly, I've never tried a good soft oatmeal bread.
It's okay. You know what? I haven't. You're right. And maybe it's tasty, but like it sounds like flavorless mush.
You're gonna have to come back to a gas station in the UK.
I can't wait.
Take your pick of prepackaged, I don't know, crayfish and rocket or whatever other sandwiches we have.
Yeah.
And
I was very impressed by some of the gas stations.
I love
the route.
I love that we've reached this point. We've reached the point where Mornings at the Cabin
so much history
is having a spirited debate about the taste and stylings of North American versus European gas station sandwiches.
There are
Scott, where's Scott?
Far more gas stations in the US and Canada than there are in the UK. But Lecter. I was impressed that like some of these filling stations had like full delis and like they have a dropped off these donuts that looked ridiculous every morning. I never had one because they're just out there in the open. They all had fingerprints on them, so I wasn't gonna eat them.
Yeah,
but they looked incredible.
Poured at by the zombie children, then
yeah. Well, I mean, most of the children in the UK seem to be zombies. It's just a country that's been it's been around a really long time, so they've evolved past us to the point where they've like devolved. Not the children, just everyone. Is that a fair assessment?
Sure. Yes. Absolutely. Everyone has devolved. I knew there was a reason. I knew there was something I was missing between the two countries when I flew by. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
right. So if you're going to the UK, check out all the castles and the history and the pubs and all that stuff. That's all great. Go to those gas stations, though. Mark those on your map.
Hit up a snarp.
Hit up a snarp and a Besco.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast was recorded before a sort of live, thankfully not in the studio, audience.
Joined by AJ across from me and Sarah to my left, who will or may not participate. I don't know. What were you eating there, aside from the strawberries?
Bananas mixed with oatmeal and chocolate chips. It's like a vegan banana
was
bread.
It
My
soft
friend found the recipe years ago.
Did you get it at a Tesco?
It was baked. No. Wait, there's so many questions.
There were two.
It's how I use up all the old bananas in the freezer.
That's a good idea. Because, I mean, there's so many people out there right now are like, I should use the bananas in my freezer.
I just don't put them in the freezer. I just eat them before they go bad.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen. So, once they get mushy, though, like once they get to a point, you're just like, I don't want to eat this.
Oh, they're done in like 2 days.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many I buy.
What were we talking about?
So, from bananas to splits.
Very good. Very good. Yes. So, okay, so this was up on the board when I arrived this morning, and I've been questioning it since I've got here. It says AJ splits. What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about. So we've already heard in the recent past of Mr. Andrew Goodwin not ruining a wedding, but
you ruined a wedding,
significantly altering a wedding.
Yeah, pretty close
with his DJ skills.
I didn't ruin the whole wedding. I ruined a pretty crucial moment of a wedding.
The bride walked in to entirely the wrong song.
Was that this weekend?
No. This is an old story. We had the story weeks ago. Okay. This is a separate wedding, at which a separate Andrew Goodwin related incident has occurred.
I feel like you're setting this up like I ruined this wedding. If anything, this improved.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the couple is divorced now, and they've put up their kids for adoption. So, I mean, we can't tie it all to that one event, but I mean...
It's circumstantial evidence.
Is it? Go ahead. Tell us the story. Tell us this story first.
Okay, so when I go to weddings, I tend to gravitate towards the dance floor.
Of course.
Okay?
Of course.
And I can do, it's not a full splits, with one leg out the front, one leg out the back.
No, it's like the one leg when like
you got the little chicken wing out the side. Yeah. So I can do that.
Yeah, James Brown style
on a good day.
Yeah.
Now the last wedding I went to, I actually knew I was gonna try this move.
Yeah,
it's been a while, so I stretched.
Up,
yeah. I did not stretch at this wedding.
Ooh.
Went out on the dance floor and thought, now's my opportunity.
Let's do it.
And I went for it, and I pulled my hamstring pretty good.
Pulled your hammy.
Yeah, but you know what? I fought through it for the night.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm starting to feel it a little bit.
Yeah, I imagine so. Like the next day is usually when you feel that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's always a big hit. So I don't know. It's not pulled that bad. I can still do stuff. So I'm kind of going with it was worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a signature wedding dance move?
I do the dance from Men in Black.
Slide?
Yeah, slide with me. Just walk with me. Now bounce. It doesn't matter what song's playing. This is what I do. And one of the, and it's been very successful for me in the past. I'm not going to go into why. But I understand gravitating towards the dance floor because I don't dance very well. I can do if someone teaches me some choreography, I'll get into it. I can do it pretty well. But like dancing, like freestyle, improvisation, and stuff like that, no good. So I understand gravitating towards the dance floor at a wedding because it's one of the few places that a white person can just go out there and dance and not be judged. And you're very white.
Thank you.
I imagine your dancing is also very white.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
You keep it in this area?
No,
like one of these
it's
things?
very, it's wide.
It's wide.
Yeah, there's a lot of hand motions and leg kicks.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Too many arms, too many legs. Yeah.
Chris Aiken.
Yeah.
Whenever we're at a wedding together, which we have a lot of mutual friends, it just seems to escalate. He'll do something, then I'll do something. There's a lot of he does a lot of knee slides onto the dance floor,
Good Lord.
which is always very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've thought about raising the bar to a backflip, but it's been a few years since I've done one.
It's a wedding. You don't need to make it about yourself.
Well, the dance floor is my moment.
That's true.
They had their
That's
moment
true. That's
at
right.
the ceremony.
Yeah.
The dance floor is my moment.
Now, to touch on the other wedding that you ruined, not this one where you injured yourself and made it all about you, but the other one where you played the wrong song as the bride was coming in. So she was going to come in for the ceremony, and there was a first dance as a couple, and they had this is the track we want you to play. It's Endless Love. Play this, and you played
American Author's Best Day of My Life.
Oh, jeez. Good Lord. Where do we hear that song 4 times a day? Wait a second.
There's a commercial, I believe it's on.
There's that. That's that one.
So that's what the bride walked down the aisle to.
What?
Because of me.
Oh, God. It was the aisle walk?
It was the aisle walk.
Why were you a DJ for that?
I was asked.
Oh, my God.
He had 5 songs to play.
It's awful.
He accidentally left it on shuffle.
Yeah, that's right.
And
yeah.
No, I'm telling you exactly what happened.
Amazing. That's amazing.
And actually, the first song was for the bridesmaids, and it just happened in shuffle to hit the right song.
Oh, my God.
So I didn't even know
what was
it was
that
in
song?
Shuffle. I can't even remember. It was
I can't even imagine
some orchestra thing.
Holding it together, deep breath. You got the person who's walking down your aisle, your dad, your grandfather, something like that. Oh, my God. I'm finally going to manage.
Look, I'm sorry, all right?
What's going on?
Don't ask me to DJ your wedding.
If you don't want me to play terrible music.
Look, I love that song, okay? I called an audible.
I called an audible. Oh, my God. You called an awful. That wasn't great. Well, that's funny. I like that. It could have been worse. Could have been Renegades by Ambassadors X or whatever.
And I actually made a pretty good joke about it. I was emceeing the reception.
Yeah.
So I started.
So they kept you on.
I started talking, doing my little bit, and then I had the DJ cut me off with that song. So that's
pretty good. That's a nice save.
Yeah.
But I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, Best Day of My Life, at least it's keeping with the theme. It could have shuffled to NWA, F the Police.
It's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I'm
Baby
sure
got
the bride,
back, Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I'm sure the bride would have made the best of it.
She's going to twerk her way down the aisle. I'm going to roll with it.
I'm going to roll with this.
Love will tear us apart.
Love Hurts by Nazareth. Oh, I love it. Well, AJ, you are not invited to any wedding that I will be a part of.
Scenes on the cabin.
Blinken!
Master Robin? Is that you?
Yes!
Back from the Crusades?
Yes!
And alive?
Yes!
Oh, happy day! I'm quite sure there was another door there. Master Robin! You lost your arms in battle! Oh, how terrible! But you grew some nice boobs.
Blinken, I'm over here.
Oh, later.
Listen to me. They've taken the castle.
I thought it felt a bit drafty. Oh, this never would have happened if your father was alive.
He's dead?
Yes.
And my mother?
But she died of pneumonia. You were away.
My brothers?
They were all killed by the plague.
My dog Pongo?
Run over by a carriage.
My goldfish Goldie?
Eaten by the cat.
My cat?
Choked on the goldfish. Oh, it's good to be home, ain't it, Master Robin?
Scenes from the cabin.
Know the movie? Submit your guess to mailbox@cabinradio.ca or send us a message on Facebook for your chance to win gift certificates to some awesome Yellowknife restaurants, including Zehabesha, the Monkey Tree Pub, the Woodyard Eatery, Copperhouse Restaurant, and Javaroma. Listen to Cabin Radio every weekday to win or download the Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Wheeler, Ollie, and Lecter with you on your Thursday morning.
Hi, everybody.
So happy to announce that he's not dead.
Welcome to another edition of Mornings at the Cabin. We're just starting the show right now. Right?
Starting the show right now. Okay. That's Randy.
That's
the
nice.
Raven. Isn't it nice?
Love that music.
Yeah, welcome back.
Anyone else
Thank
who
you.
doesn't wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning and has never heard the start of the show is now wondering what on earth is happening.
That was a great cover. Great cover of our
Thanks.
intro music.
That's Greta Van Fleet's new single. We got to stop throwing shade at Greta Van Fleet.
No, we don't.
They poor boys, you know. Hi, Pen. What we want to talk about first, we wanted to wait for you to get here because we briefly touched on this yesterday. That Disney Plus, the new streaming service, is going to be like a Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus all together as one for like $13. But one of the things they announced when Disney took over 20th Century Fox is that they've canceled most of 20th Century Fox's productions and thrown that money into something else, rebooting some old classics, right? Because that's what Disney do.
Right.
Disney just takes what they had before and remakes them into something new.
So wait, does that mean The Simpsons is ending?
No.
Oh.
Probably not.
Okay.
They'll probably do a live-action Simpsons, which would be horrifying. But one of the things they announced the other day was that they're going to reboot Home Alone.
Oh.
Rebooting the Home Aloner.
Okay.
Now, there have been... So, there Home Alone 1 and 2, obviously starring Macaulay Culkin back in the 90s. And then they made Home Alone 3, which is a straight-to-video one with a different kid. But they've made a few other ones. There was like a Home Alone, like something, a directed DVD Home Alone from like a couple years ago.
I'm not even sure I knew there was a 3.
Oh, yeah, there's a 3
Yeah.
and a 4. And then there's this other one, which is like with another friggin' kid.
Just go on like The Land Before Time.
Well, it's just like, yeah, exactly.
Home
That's
Alone
what they're kind of
14.
doing. It's like, it's a franchise, so like, just keep going. But I think what they're going to do is like reboot it with a different kid and remake the entire thing. So obviously making it for like this, it's going to be a little bit more complex.
Right.
Because you can't just leave a kid in your house. Like the kid's going to have a phone. Like Kevin would have had a phone at that age.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
And he would have just been like, you forgot me at the house.
Yeah.
Come get me before.
Call an Uber, open the app.
Call an Uber,
Yeah,
there you
open
go.
the app,
Yeah. Is this your driver?
Payment.
Yes, I'm David. There we go. Done and done.
Yeah, payment, tap, and just away we go.
Done.
Really
it wouldn't have been a
cruddy
thing.
movie in the end.
The thing is, the other thing about Home Alone, other than it just hasn't really aged poorly because it's 30 years ago. But one of the things that happens in that movie is that they're all leaving. There's like 12 of them they're leaving in that airport shuttle.
Yeah.
And the shuttle driver says, "We got 45 minutes until your flight leaves." And they're in like suburban Chicago or wherever they are, or suburban New York or wherever they are. And it's like 45 minutes to the airport.
That might be the most interesting thing about it, is seeing Home Alone in a post 9/11 setting.
Everything's changed.
Yeah. Which is very organized, very on top of
like
it.
Even like now, if there were 12 people going on an international flight and the shuttle driver came to the door and they were like, only got 3 hours to make their flight, that would be believable that they were like sprinting through the airport and trying to get there on time. 45 minutes to the flight.
You're
Come
done.
on now.
You're
You're
out
done.
of there.
Why even try to make it?
Can I say, this is not the problem with this. The problem is they're bloody remaking Home Alone. Get off it.
All right.
No. Like, can we please stop? Like, this absolute dearth of fresh ideas that we've insisted on having for the
fresh
last 2
ideas
centuries.
Don't make money, Ollie.
But you know what they did in the past?
To keep a hemorrhaging industry alive, you have to make crap.
Why do you sound like you're writing a trailer for this? To keep a hemorrhaging industry alive.
To keep a hemorrhaging industry alive, one has to make crap.
Returns, because we have nothing.
A little bit of insight into the industry. Okay, so when I was living in Vancouver, there's a lot of stuff that kind of is made to prop the industry up right now. So like you have these huge movies that Marvel does that kind of like boost the box office. But there's all these other movies, like Hallmark makes 120 movies a year or something like that. And they're all just terrible, garbage. But they're made to keep, one, the industry alive, keep training for new individuals in that industry, but just to kind of prop it up, get those tax receipts, all these things.
But hang on. But we didn't have to do this in the 90s. I mean, maybe my rose-tinted glasses are failing me, but I can remember franchises like, I don't know, maybe Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
But not a whole lot.
But they weren't even called a franchise
then. And then, like, rebooted again.
Yep.
What on earth was rebooted in the 90s? Not a whole lot.
No, not a whole
maybe
lot.
a couple of really old Disney movies,
Maybe.
but not much more than that.
No.
And
But
they
we've
were all
reached
fresh ideas. You look through the 1990s movie
I
list.
don't know about that.
But we've reached a
weren't a lot
saturation
of things like based on books. Like if we look at
Well, making a movie out of a book for the first time, like Titanic.
Yeah, that makes
or whatever.
but it's
Come
not
on.
a fresh
like
idea.
Titanic.
We look at like the whole idea that
Okay.
there's only like 7 stories in the world and everything is a version
Yeah.
of
Okay.
that.
Can we just touch on that?
I
Titanic
have
was
got
not
it.
based on a book. It was based on a song by Celine Dion.
Yes, thank you. Like, I get that there are only a certain number of basic story types, but at least the 1990s were full of, like, I don't know, movies like The English Patient, movies like, Titanic, movies that were
I've never
being...
seen either of those.
Movies that you've never seen Titanic. Well, let me spoil the ending for you. Like
You haven't seen Titanic?
We can move on from this.
the ship sinks, most of them die.
Wow.
The end.
It's a wonderful movie.
I wonder if back in the 90s, if the conversation was like, are there no original stories?
Yes.
That was a book.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
the
leave it
Titanic
a book.
wasn't
absolutely.
an original story that was based on something that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember reading articles in the late 90s about how like Hollywood's running out of ideas.
Oh.
And that's when kind of this thing started. Like you started with the prequels kind of started it. Star Wars prequels, right? That's when you started getting every year the top 10 at the
Right.
box office would be a prequel, a sequel, or something based on something
Right.
else.
Yeah.
Right? And now everything is a prequel, a sequel, an interquel, like all these other things.
But we haven't run out of ideas on TV, so why
No.
have we in the cinema? If you look at the most highly rated TV shows
Yes.
right now, very rarely are they derivative of something that's gone before.
Yeah.
Often they're brand new ideas, and that's why they perform so well. So why is that not translating to the box office?
Because to make a movie is incredibly expensive.
Oh, come on, look at a series like The Crown. It cost them like
course.
$100 million an episode.
Well, $100 million for a season,
What?
but still. But I mean, like I know. But I mean that what you're seeing now is better storytelling over say a 10-hour arc, as opposed to trying to cram $150 million into a 2-hour movie or $200 million into a 2-hour movie that has to. So based on there's a thing called like Hollywood math that was kind of exposed about 15 years ago, where like about 10 years ago actually, where like a $200 million movie has to make $1 billion to become profitable.
Well, that basic
Doesn't
math
make
is
any sense.
failing me
The
there.
basic math doesn't make any sense. But by Hollywood math, because $200 million for the movie, you have to market it, you have to put it out everywhere. So there's $200 million to make the movie, another $300 or $400 million to market it, ship it, put it everywhere in the theaters, and then like after that, there's residuals, and after
Ship
that,
it?
what's that?
I mean, ship it. What are we doing? Loading it on crates?
Okay, I mean that's a very small example, but like another $200 or $300 million just to have it play places.
Well, what
And then
profit margins are they looking for if they want to make
Huge profit margins.
Huge profit margin. So a movie has to make now. Okay, so 20 years ago, if a movie made $100 million, it was successful. And there was a list of movies that made $100 million, and it was pretty short. It was like 50 or 60 movies. Now the list of movies that made $100 million is up over 200 or 300 films, and now the $1 billion club is where you want to be at. So like now 30 movies have made $1 billion or more.
And yet the industry is dying.
Dying.
Bottom line is, I will only accept this movie if Macaulay Culkin is in it.
And he shared a wonderful picture yesterday on his Twitter, and it's him, like he's at Home Alone 3, get at me, this is what it would look like today, and it's just him looking absolutely ragged with a bowl of some unidentified food resting on his belly, and he's just kind of like, And it's like, that's what it would look like for 37-year-old Kevin to be left home alone now. And it was fantastic.
Happier than he's ever been.
Absolutely. And it's very funny. So that's what sparked this. And then we got into the whole disillusion of the film industry. That's why places like here and the burgeoning film commission and the burgeoning film industry here is so very, very important to tell these stories from here or from anywhere else. These small markets telling their own stories and creating their own film is incredibly important because it's hard to break into those industries elsewhere, right? If you just go there and try to train there, but if you train here and go elsewhere, it's a little bit better. So the community has grown exponentially, but the industry at large, Hollywood, is kind of hemorrhaging till it dies.
So what do you think Home Alone 2019-2020 is going to look like? It's just going to be a kid who's hanging out upstairs in his room. His family's actually home. Everyone's there. He just doesn't talk to them.
There's going to have to be an apocalypse. It's going to have to knock out like worldwide cell coverage and all power.
Yeah.
They're going to have to be zombies outside.
Yeah.
It's going to be home.
He's going to be
alone.
Home alone. He's going to be stuck in a VR helmet. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah. At the end of the movie, his mother will just remove the VR helmet and be like, Kevin, come down for dinner. And he'll hug her and be like, oh, I thought you were gone.
I went to some 18+ VR websites and I am scarred now.
And once again, all the cheese pizza has been eaten. No.
The Mornings at the Cabin podcast.
Joined by Sarah, who has found Penny's brother. And now, we had a poll about if Penny was a good dog or a bad dog, and a good dog has won overwhelmingly.
Yeah, but if I was part of the bad dog party, I would be encouraged by those results.
Right?
There was room for growth.
There was room for growth, yeah, and that's an encouraging way to look at it. Being beaten 75-25 encourages you that there's some things you could probably still do.
It's optimism.
Yeah. I don't really like optimism, but I'll accept it.
Skeptical about optimism.
Yeah, I'm pessimistic about the optimists. Okay, so Penny came from a litter of how many puppies?
There were 12 of them.
12. Wow. Puppies. That poor mother.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, so her mom was a small chocolate lab, had this litter of puppies.
A small chocolate lab.
The shelter in Fort Smith heard about this litter and was like, hey, maybe, would you like us to take in the mom and the puppies while they're young? Because it was January, it was cold out, so puppies came to live at the shelter in Fort Smith, I think on day 1 or 2 of their lives, and 12 of them.
Okay.
Wow.
It was a busy, busy kennel.
So do you know when Penny was, when you adopted her chronologically? Was she the first to leave the litter or the
She was
sixth
the
to
first.
leave? Oh, the first. Wow. Pick
I got back
the
from
litter.
Canada Winter. Well, I had picked her long before I took her.
Okay.
But I got back from Canada Winter Games and went straight to the animal shelter to grab her because she was finally old enough.
Yes,
right. Yeah, and I expected a few more to also be gone by the time I got there, but she was the first to leave. It was actually quite sad because she didn't want to leave. She kept trying to run back to the kennel to say goodbye.
Oh, God, that is
heartbreaking. I have a video.
Oh, my God.
We won't share that, though.
No.
What we will share is a picture of Penny reuniting with her brother.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So 12 puppies. The other 10, though, have been parsed out elsewhere, outside the territory.
That's what I thought. Apparently, there's 2 in Fort Smith, though.
Two
so
in
there's
Fort
one
Smith.
brother we haven't found yet, although I do know who has him. So maybe next time we're in Fort Smith,
Very
we'll
nice.
meet up with him.
Are you going to share that on the gram?
I could
Share it on the gram.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the other 9 puppies, I guess, are all down in BC.
BC puppies.
Bunch of Southerners.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Bunch of tree-hugging puppy hippies. I don't know. I like tree-hugging hippies.
But yeah, we were in Fort Smith, and the people we were staying with, their daughter came over, and she was like, my boyfriend's mother has Penny's brother.
Wow.
So she was taking pictures of Penny to show to her mother-in-law, and the mother, then she messaged me, and she's like, here's my mother-in-law's number. She would like to meet up with you. You could give her a call.
Nice.
So we did, and we went over, and the puppies met, and oh my gosh, I thought Penny was pretty. This dog is gorgeous.
How dare you? She's
Really?
right there. Penny, you are gorgeous.
Wow, cover
She
your
is.
ears.
He
Cover
is-
yours,
He's beautiful, though, too.
Do
He's
they look
almost like
similar?
a flat-coated retriever, but like a lighter brown.
Okay.
He's got like blonde highlights in his back,
Oh.
light brown ears.
All right. Can we trade?
I
Let's
wish I'd
trade.
taken like more than one puppy.
Oh,
He's
my
so
goodness. You should have
pretty.
taken more than
So
that.
nice. He's
Aw.
also bigger than Penny, a couple inches taller, so he looks
Yeah.
like an actual
Oh,
retriever,
my
whereas Penny's like this
Wow.
miniature version,
So
travel
what-
size.
So what did Penny think of him?
They got along really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're the
Aw.
same age. They're both super
Yeah.
playful still, so they raced around the yard, and Penny being the light, like, golden color that she is got covered in sand very, very quickly. And the pictures I have, she's like, just looks like a mess. She's like
nice.
Covered in like slobber and sand, and he's just sitting there all pretty still.
Nah, maybe they were next to each other in the womb.
Maybe.
Yeah. To touch back on the 12 puppies from a chocolate lab. Now, Penny does not look like a chocolate lab at all, and the other one looks like a retriever, like you said. Was there a lot of different kinds of puppies? Like, how did they all look, or do they all look kind of similar?
They all look pretty different.
Okay.
So there was about 4 like blonde ones. She was the reddest one of them all. The other ones were lighter.
Yeah.
There's 4 brown ones, which were really shaggy, and he did have a little bit longer fur than her. He looked more like a golden retriever, but brown.
Yeah.
And then there's 4 black ones, which were more like labs. Like they had that short coarse fur, and they were smaller.
So Penny's mom was the little community bicycle. Same thing happened to my dog when I was young. So my first dog, the dog that my parents had was named Puppers, and
Puppers.
When I was born, Puppers. But then we got a puppy when I was in kindergarten. We named her Belle. And she was like
that was Penny's mom's name.
No. And she was like a retriever, lab retriever cross or whatever. Right. She was white. And we lived down in Old Town. And I would spend most of my days in the wood yard. And there's plenty of dogs
before
around
the
there.
bar.
Before the bar.
Yeah.
Before the bar. In the flats.
Right.
And back then, like, no one had leashes, or like, you just, like, dogs would just wander around the neighborhood and then come home at the end of the night.
I mean, it's still the case in Old Town.
Pretty much. Sometimes with a caribou head. She did that a couple of times, which was great. But she would, once she became of age,
right?
She spent some time
Yeah.
around. All right. I saw her getting it on with a husky. Saw her getting it on with an Irish setter. All kinds of things going on. So she had 10 pups her first litter.
Wow.
10 puppies. Can you, like, being 6. I was 5, but by the time she had puppies, I was 6. Being a 6-year-old with 10 puppies on a blanket in the basement was heaven. It was the greatest thing of all time.
I mean, frankly, you're responsible, but, Bob Barker was around long before that telling you to spay and neuter your dogs. I don't know what you were watching, but it clearly wasn't The Price is Right.
Anyway, so she had 10 puppies. It's like, one looked like her, one was black and white and a husky. One was totally black. Another one was like Penny's brood there, a little lighter colored, and then there were like 5 that were like Irish setter, like brown with long hair. Like they look like retriever setters, like long, beautiful, like golden brown hair. So they all got parsed out. But I mean, yeah, that's what happens when a dog just kind of goes around and just has multiple partners.
Yeah.
And it just gives birth to a bunch of puppies that don't look like her.
Yeah. Education is key.
Education is key. Education equals prevention sometimes, And we talked to her after that. And, got her right fixed up right after that. And we kept one of them, but he was, unfortunately...
Oh, no.
Developmentally challenged, not like literally, not like he was very stubborn and like very just reactionary, and it was unfortunate he got picked up by the bylaw like dozens of times. But
shoot,
yeah, well, yeah, unfortunately that's what we did. No, I'm joking.
Thanks for listening. Check out more from the show at cabinradio.ca and by following the Mornings at the Cabin Facebook page.